This is one of our annual anniversaries of the Mumbles Rangers Old Boys. It happens every year. Today we are especially welcome in the sun because we have a wonderful day here. We'll have about 50 members. We were hoping to get Carlo Prete of Italy over, but he couldn't make it. I'll now hand you over to Dave to finish it.
Well, Doug, as you know, is Mr. Rangers, if you like, and was Billy's big friend. I don't know if you're able to zoom in on that at all, but this is what it's all about. It's not about any of us, it's about this one amazing guy who ran an amazing club, yes. Billy Johns. And that's why we're all here today.
Just walk out. This is what acting's all about. She never looked directly at the camera.
No, casual, very casual.
I'm very impressed to see such a big gathering here today because the way society is changing, it's so hard to keep up with things. Now, when I was a young man years ago, such societies as Probus, Freemasonry, Rotary, you wanted to join, you told you would put your name on a list, which was as long as Eddie Wade's arm. And even then, if you came up that list, you weren't always to be selected. Now, times have changed dramatically. You can join anyone now, they advertise. Even the Freemasons put adverts, you can join them. The Probus are drying up. And yet today, in spite of all this, with a common trend, look, you're all here today, which says an awful lot for Mumbles Rangers and the philosophy of Billy John. And I think all of you here, being here today, has shown how a bond was built up between you all, playing amateur football all over Swansea in South Wales. Something that's meaningful to Billy John, and I think you being here is perhaps a great tribute that you could ever have had. So I think it's look upon yourselves with pride.
Many of you have played for the Rangers, some of you have played against us, some of you were club officers, some of you have been wonderful supporters of our club, some of you knew and respected our founder, the wonderful Billy Johns. Today, Mumbles Rangers welcomes you all. So, thank you for making the effort to be here. Several of you I know, in spite of significant health issues, we are delighted to see all of you. We've received apologies from Hilton, as I mentioned, Jeff Fackrell from Carleon, and Roy Hughes from St. Clair's. All of them are determined to be here next year, as I hope all of you will.
I've had the privilege of looking after many of the Swansea boys from the earliest days. The days of Ivor Allchurch, Terry Medwin, Jack O'Driscoll. Anybody remember the beautiful dancing Jack O'Driscoll who had his leg terribly broken and never played again? And I remember the crazy, the lunatic Giorgio Chevalier. Do you remember him? Yeah. We couldn't get rid of him quick enough, could we? He was a handful. One day he was supposed to be training and he's still in bed. Where's Charge? And he said, oh, I didn't know. And a lovely boy, unspoiled. What happens? He goes back to Italy. Last you get hold of him, and of course he becomes one of the greatest players in the world. He brought on. I remember Giorgio. Then of course our lovely Herbie Williams, Lambton George Herbie Williams, an idiot, lovely chap. A gifted man, unfortunately smitten with a medical condition which cut his career short. Anyway, Then I've mentioned now the enigmatic and brilliant Jeff Thomas. As I don't know why it was that that man didn't go on to become one of the greatest players Swansea City had. He'd play to confound you. He'd be dropped from the team. He'd play for the reserve. He'd play a game, a genius. And he'd go inside and then back. Couldn't concentrate, couldn't Anyway, this was the era that came in, and football was never to be the same again. Swansea went to the depths, and they came back, and now languishing in the Championship, we don't know what the future holds. But it was never the same again after the Toshak era. This is the dawn of the new era. It's the dawn of the new social lives about us, and it's very hard for us to get all our heads around these things. But there's one thing I'd like to tell you before I go. We used to have wonderful vice presidents' dinners, and I loved going to them, and it was my pleasure to organise a vice president's dinner. And I had Bernard Manning along as an entertainer. And one of the stories he told was about the man coming home unexpectedly from work. He'd forgotten his sandwiches. And he heard a lot of groaning noises upstairs and a lot of mattress action. So he went up the stairs, and to his horror, his wife was in bed with a milkman. So I'd upset him that bit. Coleman, milkman, you know. Anyway, they were shocked. And he said, "Get out of that bed." And he got out of this bed, and he stood like this milkman. And this man, he went to the door, and he took out his pistol. He kept this from the wall. He was an old RAF boy, always kept it. And he took it out. And he pointed it at him. "This is the last time you will ever do this sort of thing to somebody's wife." And he said, and he pointed it down between his legs. He said, "I'm going to shoot that off." And the chap said, "Give me a chance, give me a chance." It's all right. He said, "Swing it."
Ready?
Big bananas.
Cheese.
Support. Chicken shit.
Done. Okay.
Is that it?
Come with this one. Come on.
Let's get a decent camera.
He's getting all these cameras.
Let's get a decent camera.